Hello there, and welcome to the Network Central TV. My name is Pippa, MD of 4N Online, and you are watching the Network Central Classroom. And we have a very special guest here in the green room down here. He is the chairman of 4 Networking. In fact, the chairman of Network Central. It is Mr. Terry Cooper. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Pippa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Rearing to go to give you some up to the minute sales tips today to help everybody.
This is amazing. You are all in for a treat. I have sat on talks with Terry before when he's giving his sales tips, and they are incredible. So I'm going to leave you be. I'm going to let you carry on, Terry, and I will see you at the end.
Thanks, Pippa. Hi, guys. Well, the first thing I'd like to talk about today is I'm going to use this expression, stop selling, start helping, because that's really important in any situation, particularly in networking, which is what we're talking about today. That's what we are. We are a networking business. And it took me, even with all my experience, a while to learn this. And try not to sell immediately to somebody. It doesn't help, because if you think about the sales process, people only buy from people they like, know, and trust. You wouldn't buy from somebody you didn't like, you didn't know, and you didn't trust. So the best way you can gain somebody's trust is to actually help them. So my first point to you today is stop selling, start helping. And this is absolutely key, because there's so many ways that you can help people as far as networking is concerned. You're bound to get the opportunity to talk to them online, or hopefully soon face-to-face again. And when you sit down for your 5, 10, 15, whatever time you have to discuss something with people, say to them straight off, how can I help you? And listen to what they've got to say, because in listening and in talking to them, you're building rapport. And in building rapport, you're building likability. And in building likability, you're building trust. So that's really important. And you'll find that helping somebody will easily convert to actually selling something to somebody. And it will be done in such a way that you won't even notice and they won't even notice. It will be like a seamless transfer, where you're transferring across your skills and knowledge to someone else. And then they'll eventually say to you, well, what's the charge? What's the charge for that then, Terry? Because you will do the selling bit without them even realizing you're doing the selling bit. So guys, that's my first tip for today, is stop selling, start helping. The sales will come when you start helping other people. Don't hard sell. It really doesn't work. It doesn't work in commercial business. It doesn't work in networking. So no hard sells, start helping. The next thing that I want to talk about is that I believe that many of us overcomplicate the sales process. Because actually, sales, as you just heard me say, is about having a conversation. Again, it's the meet, like, know, and trust thing. So guys, start using conversational techniques as far as sales is concerned. So just chat to somebody about the things that they're interested in about their business. But when you're talking to somebody, you've got to be assessing from your standpoint, your sales point of view, does the person want or need the product or service that I've got to offer them? Because that's the first key. If they don't want and need it, there's no point having a conversation. There's no point selling to them, because you should only ever sell something to somebody that they want or need that will improve their life or their business. So start off with a conversation. And then as you find that when you're talking to somebody, there is an interest in your product and service, and by talking to them and asking them open leading questions. And open leading questions are questions that begin with what, when, why, how, who, because you want somebody to give you not a one-line answer. So you always start your questions that you're going to ask somebody with those openings. So there's got to be an explanation, and you keep asking those open leading questions until you establish a need or a want for your product and service. Or again, they have a problem that you can help them with. You need to find a solution somewhere in that conversation. So start with those open questions. And then when you found that there is really a need for the product and service, then you can start on your closed questions, because you want to actually then find out what part of your product and service is going to be best to offer that person as far as the sale is concerned. So you then start to ask your closed questions to define that. And then when you think that you've done that, you've got enough time to define exactly what it is as part of your product and service that you want that you're going to offer to them. Don't then go straight for the close, then go for a recap, because that's a great way of making sure that you've got all of your facts. I call it getting all your ducks in a row. So just say to somebody, look, Can we just go over this? Am I right in thinking? And then you just recap that all through. And that's where you get the agreement through with everything. And that's only at that point, when you've had the conversation, you've relaxed somebody, you've found out if they want or need your product and service, you've defined exactly what part of the product and service that you want, is where you actually go ahead and go for the close. And I do that in a really simple way. And you can do it in any way that you want to do that, guys. But I do it really in a really simple way, just by saying to somebody, would you like to go ahead with that? And that's the conversational way of the sales cycle. And now I'm going to give this to you in another way, so you understand what I mean by conversational. Let's forget selling completely. Let's forget any sales situation. Let's talk about you talking to your friends, colleagues, down the pub, over the dinner table, where you're absolutely passionate about something. There's something in our lives that we're passionate about. Is it our holidays, our cars, our grandchildren, photography, painting? We're passionate. We start a conversation, somebody shows an interest in that conversation, and then you burn their ears off with your passion, your enthusiasm about the thing that you're really interested in. And if you can find that they're interested in it as well, you're on conversation for hours. In fact, I was talking to somebody this morning about cricket, and to find out that I was interested in cricket and they were interested in cricket, immediately we got commonality, immediately we got rapport, and that formed a big part of their conversation before we moved on to the business part of it. So just think about what you're passionate about as far as your private life is concerned, and think about how you infect people with that passion, to the point where you might see them again in a few months' time, and they might say, "Oh, Terry, we that conversation. Do you remember we talked about where the Seychelles? We talked about that car, that camera that we talked about. Yeah, I went and bought that, and we went there for a holiday. So I bought one of those. It was really good." That's what conversational selling is about. It's actually about influencing somebody to buy your product and service in way of a conversation. So just think about how you would do that completely normally in your private life, and then translate that into sales. Guys, that takes all the pressure off sales and makes it much easier for you to be a conversational salesperson. That's the second thing. Moving on to the third thing. And I'm going to go back now to a little bit of what I've said before, because if you remember, I said that, you do the open questions, you do the closed questions, you get your ducks in a row, and then you make a proposal. And I said to you that what I like to say then is I like to keep it simple, and it's got to be in your words. I don't care how you do it. I like to say, would you like to go ahead with that? No, guys, I haven't frozen. I'm indicating to you something that's the third point I want to make with you today, and that is the power of silence. I purposely said nothing there. I created a power of silence. I created a pit, a divide there, where you, the customer, then has to answer me. I'm not going to speak again. I've made a proposal. I'm waiting for you, the prospect or the customer, to answer me. And that is selling. That's the absolute key to what selling is about. When you've done your conversational sale, when you've made your proposal, zip, because you don't know what's going to happen next. And let me tell you something. What's going to happen next, if you've done everything right, and you wouldn't have asked the question, would you like to go ahead with that, if you didn't think they wanted or needed your product and service, and you hadn't done everything right, then I'm expecting to get, yes, I'd love to, Terry, thank you. So wait for somebody to say it, because let me tell you something else. People love to say yes. They hate to say no. They just love to say yes. We all like to. It's human nature. So why don't you wait for the yes to come? I promise you, okay, that if you wait, use the power of silence when you're doing a close, and wait for your customer or prospect to speak, that will move it forward far faster than you trying to fill that void. Don't say, would you like to go ahead? But of course, then keep quiet. Wait for the other person to speak, because that's absolutely paramount as far as the power of silence is concerned. And just remember, in any sales situation, if somebody says to you no, it often doesn't mean no. It actually often means, no, Terry, I can't say yes because you haven't given me enough information, or something else has come along where I want some more clarity. So then you can say, okay, well, could you tell me why you wouldn't want to go? And then you start again. You start the question again. You start the closing again. you start you make the definition that you've got all your ducks in a row, and then you go back for another close. You might find it's a bit like a circle. You might find that you're going to go around that sort of presentation and closing circle a number of times before you actually come away with an order. But remember, you don't have to come away with an order that day. Sometimes if somebody says no, it means it's not the right time for them to buy. So it might be that they're going to say to you, well, no, not today, Terry. However, in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, next year, when the new model comes, whatever it is, then it might be something else that you can take it forward in the sales presentation. So guys, never be put off by a no, because often in sales it doesn't mean no. It means it's going to be yes, but you just haven't given me enough information. But always, always, always use the power of silence. Now, it really is difficult to do, and it's very intimidating, and it's perhaps more intimidating for you in some ways than it is for the person you're asking to break it. But believe me, it's absolutely key in any sales situation. When you've closed, wait for the customer or the prospect to speak next. You never know what they're going to say. So that's the third thing I want to talk about today. And the fourth thing I want to talk about today is, should you give a discount at the point of sale? No is my answer to that, okay? Because if you think about it, if you've done everything right and you've got the person to the point of sale and you've actually asked for the order, why at that stage would you suddenly say, oh, well, so no, you don't want to go ahead with that, think it's too expensive? Great, well, I'll tell you what I can do. I can take £300 off or whatever. Because why would they not say to you, well, why? Okay, Terry, so why couldn't you have offered me that price to start with? So guys, never, ever, ever offer a discount at the point of sale, because it's absolutely blowing your integrity as far as your customer or prospect is concerned. So if you can't offer a discount at the point of sale, what else can you do? Well, there's only two things that you can do at this point. You can add something on, or you can take something away. So what you would do then is you would go back a couple of stages and say, okay, well, if price is an issue, then let's have a look. Let's go through this again, and let's have a look at what we might be able to take away. So did you really need this? Did you really need that? Did you really need? So go back over that, and you'll probably find when you do that the prospect or customer will say, well, yeah, I do need that, Terry. Oh no, I must need that. So you come back to the price, because that's your price. Why would you be able to offer something at one price and then suddenly say, oh no, I can take a whole load of money off that? You can't, guys. You're a professional. You have a high integrity. You want to give great service to your customer. So you can't suddenly reduce your price by X amount, because you've got to be able to make a profit to be able to deliver your product and service and support your product and service to the customer. So it's just a way of justifying that as far as the customer is concerned. So guys, go back over it, see if you can take something away. Sometimes you can. And then you can say, okay, if you don't want that at this stage, we can leave that to the side. Maybe we can do that later. It's possible then I can reduce it for you from X to Y. Would you like to go ahead with that? And close again. The other thing you can do is you can add something on. You can actually say, well, look, I'll tell you what, look, we talked about maybe you doing this in the future. I'll tell you what I can do. Let's put that into the deal today. So let's put that in today. So that will give you added value as far as the deal is concerned today. So you can add something in. You can take something away, or you can add something in. But something that you must never, ever do is to offer a discount at point of sale. Except, I know what you're saying. You're sat there saying, oh, of course you can't tell. There are reasons where you can do that. You're quite right. There are times that you can do that. And the couple of times that you could do that is, what about if you got to the end of it and somebody said to you, and this happened to me in my past sales life, where I got to the end of a presentation of a piece of machinery when I used to sell machinery, and the person I was demonstrating to said, that's really, really good. Do you do a discount for quantity? So I said, well, how many were you looking for? Well, we've got 22 branches. What could you do for 22? Well, let's face it. I could give a discount for 22, right? So that is a way that you could give discount. You could offer a quantity discount at point of sale. You might want to add a price advantage discount. And by that, if they wanted to pay per form or invoice, you might be able to say, well, okay, if you're going to pay for it today, then I might be able to do something, for, reduce it a bit. because if you've got to order components in and you know that you're going to get your money up front, you might be able to do a little something. So there are opportunities and times where perhaps a small discount or a quantity discount is usable at point of sale. But I'm talking generally where you've gone through a sale, you've offered something at a price and it's been agreed that the customers agreed that that's what they want for your price and service. And all of a sudden then you state your price, but I like to get price out of the way early on, guys, so it doesn't become an issue. I prefer to do that. But if you can't do that because you have to bespoke something, it has to come down to, what it is at point of sale. You can't then suddenly discount it because your integrity is completely lost at that point in time. And the last thing I'm going to talk about today is it ever too early to ask for the order? And I'm going to say to you, no, it isn't ever too early to ask for the order, but it's how you do it. And I'm going to drop back again on experience from my 50 years now in sales. When I was a young salesman, working out selling photocopiers, when I was trained to sell photocopiers back in the early 70s with a great sales manager who was a brilliant sales guy. We wheeled a machine into the reception of a big company in Bracknell, and he was demonstrated to the managing director, and the guy came down to see the machine which we'd set up. And the first thing he said when he walked through is, "Oh God, that's a really nice, attractive looking machine." And my sales manager said, "How many would you like, sir?" And the guy went, "Oh, I haven't decided yet." But he'd set the scene, but he did it with a smile. And that's the thing that's really important, guys. It's perfectly all right to assume a close in the sale because that's what you're there for. If it's going well, why wouldn't you assume a close? So when I say it's never too early to close, it's never too early to assume, if it's going well, that you're going to get the order. So it's perfectly all right to suggest ways of closing as you go through the conversation, to put the buyer in the frame of mind that at the end of this, you're going to ask for a decision because that's what you've come to do in the first place. So guys, I'm going to say to you, no, it's never too early to ask for the order. But it's the way that you do it. You do it with a smile and you won't upset anybody. And anyway, guys, a smile on your face puts a smile in your voice, which puts a smile on your customers or prospects' face as well. So be happy in sales. It's the most amazing thing that you can ever do is to sell something to somebody that they want or need, that solves a problem for them, that saves them money. It's a great feeling for them and it's a great feeling for you as a professional salesperson. So there are my 5 top tips for today. Stop selling, start helping. Sales is about having a conversation. Think about how you would do it in your private life. Use the power of silence at the close. And you don't have to give a discount. You either add something in or you take something away. And it's never too early to start to close a sale. I hope you've enjoyed this today. I've thoroughly enjoyed presenting it to you. And hopefully Pip asked me back another time to give you a few more tips on sales and closing the sale. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Terry. How amazing was that? You say invite you back. I want you just to continue now. And I know I feel like this every time you do your sales tips. I have to admit, I'm one that fills a lot of gaps when there's silence. So I'm going to learn and I'm going to think of you every time I try and speak when really I need to stay quiet because that power of silence thing is just so valuable.
There you go. So I didn't need to speak.
There you go. It's brilliant. I love it. I love it. Terry, thank you so much for coming on here today. I do need to ask you, because we are talking just a tiny bit about people's networking experiences. And you've had quite a journey with 4 networking to begin with, haven't you? So how long have you been a member?
15 years, just coming up now. Yeah, I wasn't there quite at the start, but I was there soon afterwards.
That is incredible. So the network is 15 years old if you're watching this. So Terry has been pretty much from day one and has formed and shaped the network. And you're still here, so you must love it, Terry. I hear you.
I'm absolutely loving it and loving for the opportunity because, of course, we've been doing a great online, which has been absolutely fantastic since March of last year. And hopefully after the 21st of June, we'll be able to go back to face-to-face. And I'm looking forward to doing that as well. So absolutely, and of course, all the new things that we've done with the network, through Network Central with 1 networking and 3 networking, has been amazing, and I'm looking forward to being involved in all of those things going forward.
I know you tried to retire once. I'm presuming you're not planning on retiring anytime soon.
I don't think Brad or my wife would let me again.
I love it. Well, I'm, for one, I'm very glad you haven't retired. Thank you so much, Terry. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and do check back in for another episode of the Classroom soon. Got to do the wave, Terry. Got to do the wave.
Thanks, Pippa. Bye-bye.